Coming to you live from Ersprung Gymnasium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome to our coverage of the Ohio Athletic Conference women's basketball season. It's the Otterbein Cardinals on the road today, taking on your Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets, who are currently ranked 14th in the country across Division III. I'm Brendan Gulick, glad to have you on board. This afternoon's contest presented to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products. They're a global recycling company. By Papa John's Pizza in Berea, the official pizza provider of BW Athletics. Call them at 440-891-1900 or go online, papajohns.com. Yellow Jackets are playing good basketball, folks. They're 11-1 on the year. Their only loss came to the number 7 ranked team in the nation in Wartburg, but they've got a couple of really impressive wins on their slate so far, and the team has won 3 in a row since dropping that contest against Wartburg. Most impressively, lately, 71-49, the win over Mount Union earlier this week. They were down in Alliance and took care of the Purple Raiders, who, believe it or not, are 0-5 in OAC play for the first time in a very long time. The Jackets are home today, and they're home on Wednesday this week. So back-to-back home games against Otterbein today and Ohio Northern coming up. And BW is going to play against a Cardinals team that is right on their heels in OAC competition. Jackets right now the only undefeated team in the league at 5-0, but there are a few teams right behind them at 4-1. John Carroll, Otterbein, Ohio Northern, all one-loss teams in the league so far. So definitely reason to think that this is an important week for the Jackets to pick up wins over 2 of those teams that have one loss, and they'll play John Carroll in a couple weeks. So 3 of their next 4 in total are pretty important nights. Jackets will be in their gold tops with white numbers, brown lettering, and white trim. Otterbein will be in their cardinal tops with white and gold. One very notable difference for this Yellow Jacket starting lineup: senior guard Riley Schill unavailable today. She is not going to be on the floor, and the Yellow Jackets are certainly going to miss her. Riley is as good as BW's got in this group of senior guards. Off we go here in Berea. Glad to have you on board. We'll give you the starting lineups momentarily. But just to finish that note, Riley Schill, the team's leading scorer this season. That's Bryn Mangold, the junior out of Lakota East High School down in the greater Cincinnati area. The Jackets turn it over and almost give up another bucket immediately. See if BW can get something going here after a bad start on the defensive end. How about a quick answer and effect for 3. Abby Scholes is a senior out of Mount Notre Dame in Cincinnati. Abby Scholes, one of the 5 starters. She sets the screen here for Otterbein and rolls away. Now holding the ball, Abby Zirkel, a junior from Northwestern High School in Springfield, Ohio. This left wing 3 off target from Bryn Mangold. Actually, beg your pardon, that was Angelia Jackson, the junior from Lakota West, that shot that. Of course, Mangold, Lakota East, and then Jenna Hoschauer is a sophomore guard out of Dayton Northmont High School. Northmont in Clayton, Ohio, one of the suburbs of Dayton. Those are the starting 5 for the Otterbein Cardinals, who are down 3-2 here. They're under first-year head coach Diana Knowles. She's a 2004 grad of Otterbein when she was then her maiden name Esterkamp, Diana Esterkamp, a 3-time All-OAC performer, really good player. Left elbow jumper good for Scholes, and Otterbein takes a 4-3 lead. How about for the Yellow Jackets? Well, Casey Hughes, Kara Marshall, Hannah Fecht, Megan Scheibelhut, typical starters, but taking Riley Schill's place is junior Gabby Garrett out of Bishop Watterson, and she sees plenty of time, so it's not as though Garrett is stepping into an uncertain role. And the Jackets are pretty deep. They play quite a few off the bench. Swinging around Garrett, catch and shoot. And Gabby throws it too far. Otterbein by a point, 2 minutes into the first quarter. From the right wing, 3-ball connected, Abby Zirkel. 7-3 Cardinals, and they settle into a full court press. And the Jackets turn it over. Here comes Zirkel. Shower holds top of the arc. BW's defense tries to get it going. Sherry Harrer standing there, hands on her hips over in front of her bench. She's not a happy camper. Zirkle stops just below the free throw line. Jackets try to jar one free, and it is off Otterbein, out of bounds. Couple changes now. Baldwin Wallace bringing on Izzy Andrews, freshman guard out of Ann Arbor, getting an opportunity to play early in the game. And they also check on Lily Edwards. Andrews is only playing in her 10th game of the year. In the first 9, she's averaged just under 6 minutes per game, so she hasn't seen a ton of time, but pretty athletic young player the Jackets really like. And Effect misses from the baseline. Almost stole it back there in the backcourt. All right, on the near right wing, this is Jackson. Passes away, Mangold looking for a driving lane. Instead, she finds herself wide open. Beg your pardon, that's Abby Zirkle who connects. 9-3, not a good start for the Jackets. Sherry Harrer calls timeout, 3.5 minutes gone, first quarter. Megan Hensel on for the Jackets. Abby McCord, or I should say Peyton McCord, in for Otterbein. As we move along here, still early on, 9-3. Cardinals out front by 6. Abby Scholl's a pretty good player. 13 points per game, one of the better offensive threats for the Otterbein Cardinals. This is a Hensel 3-ball, and she puts it in. The Jackets only have 2 buckets so far. They're both from deep. Meanwhile, Sherry Harrer shed her sport coat at that timeout. It's time to get serious. Jackets trying to spark the defensive end. Good work. Edwards jarred it free. Now it's Hannah Fecht. Casey Hughes tries to tie the game. It's halfway down. Hensel grabs the offensive board. And the Jackets can reset. Hughes was open for a moment, and Lily Edwards got pushed in the back by Peyton McCord. She's from Mount Vernon, Ohio. Another change for Otterbein. Angelia Jackson returns. Zirkle heads off. Otterbein has started the same starting lineup almost every game. They've only had a couple of changes, and it was due to an injury. Kathleen DiCarlo started 9 games, but she is injured and not available to play today. And in the 3 games since then, Zirkle has started twice and Mangold has started once. And today, they both got an opportunity to start. All right, right corner, Hensel, high, arcing 3, no. Edwards has to go up with it quick, and she got fouled again. So the Jackets are down 9-6 with 5:30 left in the first, and Lily Edwards is heading to the free throw line. Meanwhile, Sydney Snyder returning for BW, and Otterbein brings Mangold back on the floor for Peyton McCord. Haley Bauer also in for Otterbein, senior out of Loveland. Edwards for 2 free throws here, puts in the first. Baldwin Wallace, 11 wins, 1 loss, and they're outscoring opponents by an average of almost 13 points per game this season. They've had some really good defensive performances and a handful of pretty solid offensive ones. Scored 89 points at Muskingum back in December. Driving down the left lane, wildly chucking it up. The Cardinals couldn't connect, and then a jump ball. As Mangold throws one up between the rim and the backboard. It gets stuck there. So it's BW basketball. Andrews gives to Casey Hughes here. Now up top to Hensel. Sydney Snyder, who recently checked in. Edwards. Maybe she's on pace for a more meaningful game here today. Lily Edwards. She is such an impressive young lady, on and off the floor, I might add. She's as polite as they come. She's got great heart, great spirit. And she is a fierce competitor. It's fun to watch her out there. Casey Hughes spinning through the lane, in trouble. That's great defense, and Hughes put it in anyways. Wow, good effort on both sides there. Scholes holding for the Cardinals. Now Jackson. Angelia to her left. Stops and pops and misses short. Hensel on the somewhat long rebound. Both teams wait to bring on fresh legs. 4:15 left first quarter. The Jackets have a 10-9 lead. They've scored 7 straight points. Hughes tried to skip one over the top of the defense. That wasn't effective. Driving down the right side, Hoschauer dishes into the corner where Haley Bauer misfires. Hensel wants to run for BW. Finds Edwards in the paint. Lily turns around, gets strong, and banks it in there. Nice run for BW. They were down 9-3, and since they called timeout, the Jackets have gone on a 9-0 run. 12-9 BW, 3:41 left in the first quarter. Well, after a cold start, the Yellow Jackets have hit a couple baskets in a row. And now they have a 12-9 lead. Three minutes, 35 seconds left in the first. Going to the left-hand side, Bauer. Back to the top of the arc, Mangold. Jackson against Snyder. Good screen from Scholes, although Zirkle didn't use it. She rolled the other way. The Jackets coming up the floor after the miss. Snyder way off to the right. Lily Edwards corrals the miss and puts it in. How about the start for Lily? Certainly not unlike her, but it's good to see her getting rolling early in the game. She's got 6 of the Jackets' 14 points, and it's an 11-0 BW run. Otterbein all of a sudden looks flustered. That was last touch by Haley Bauer, and it goes back to BW. Edwards gets a nice high five as Sydney Diedrich comes in. So it's Fecht, Marshall, Diedrich, Snyder, and Bentler. Tiffany Bentler in for BW2. And on the Otterbein side, Mangold and Zirkle still in the game along with Haley Bauer. But their 2 guards now are Scholes and Hoschauer. Okay. And Fecht with 7 to shoot, working it around the perimeter. Diedrich, 3 on the timer, felt the pressure, and she got hacked. Mangold got a little bit of her right arm, and she tried to put that one up and in. So Sydney Diedrich goes to the free throw line. Sid's been pretty good from the stripe on the season. With that make, she's now 15 of 20. Boy, what has gotten into the Cardinals here? Diedrich hits another. The Yellow Jackets lead it 16-9 on a 13-0 run. Abby Scholes turns around. She beat Diedrich baseline but missed the layup. Jackets, oh, they get a second chance. Diedrich, no. And effect on a third opportunity, comes away with it. Inside 2 minutes, first quarter. Good patience here. Bettler decided to dish it off. Diedrich, a long three ball. Hits the heel of the rim. Finally ricochets out of bounds. All right. Megan Scheibelhut will have to wait. She went over to the scores table but couldn't get in before the ball was inbounded. Minute 20 left in the first quarter. So far, so good for BW after a bad first couple minutes. Team really has woken up. They're on a 13-0 run. Kara Marshall spinning around. She hit the deck hard. Jackets got yet another offensive rebound. They find Diedrich underneath, and she got fouled. Boy, the Jackets, after Sherry Harrer called a timeout, 3.5 minutes in, and lit the team up in a huddle, BW has played with a much different level of intensity. And it is really showing, especially on the defensive end of the floor. (17-9). Make it 18. Inside a minute left in the first. Bauer can't find a way around Garrett. Hoschauer takes a chance at a left elbow jump shot. That one off target. Garrett holding the ball here. About 14 seconds different between game and shot clock. See if the Jackets try to go 2 for 1. I don't think that's on their mind. Now they can't. Hensel zings it around. Now Snyder. 5 to shoot. And a travel. It's all right. Killed a bunch of time there. 17.5 left in the first quarter. See if the Jackets can keep Otterbein off the scoreboard here for what feels like the final 6 minutes of the half, or I should say the opening quarter. Snyder helps Jard free. Hensel's on the deck with it. And the first quarter clock expires. Baldwin Wallace was down 9-3 when they called a timeout at 6:34 left in the opening period. It's now 18-9 Yellow Jackets. What a turnaround. Second quarter action coming up next here in Berea. All right, the Yellow Jackets and Cardinals come back out on the floor at the start of the second quarter, where Baldwin Wallace has an 18-9 lead over Otterbein. By the way, if you're hoping to follow along with us on the live stats, we apologize that those are not being updated at the moment. We've had a technical issue that our stat crew is trying to work through, but not sure when that will or if it will get updated. So try to stay patient with us, but in the meantime, we'll continue our live streaming coverage for you. Otterbein in some trouble. They have all of a sudden just totally fallen apart on the offensive end of the floor. And let's be honest, when you're missing two starters, it's hard to really expect that things are going to go totally as normal. No Delaney Cutteridge today, and obviously I mentioned earlier, no Kathleen DiCarlo. That's pretty tough to overcome as Gabby Garrett's three misfires, but Lily Edwards is there. Hensel tries a three and didn't bank it in. Got her own miss, couldn't follow it up, and Hensel tipped it out of bounds. I give Diana Knowles a lot of credit for what she's done with this team here in her first year as a head coach, but it's not a new environment to her whatsoever. She was the team's top assistant in the last several years. Played at Otterbein. She didn't exactly have a big learning curve in terms of program and things like that. It's just about establishing the culture you decide you want. Otterbein finally going to the free throw line as Abby Scholes will try to snap this 8-minute scoreless drought for the Cardinals. Otterbein started the game 4 of 7 shooting. They have not scored since then. Get a point there from the free throw line. Abby Scholes has had a good season. She's probably on pace to be considered for the all-conference team if she continues this type of play. Splits the pair there, 13 points a night and averaging more than 7 rebounds per game. Jackets lead it by 8, 18-10. Hughes, Garrett. Back to Casey, back to Gabby. 5 to shoot. Garrett went to the rack with it and got blocked. Otterbein plays pretty hard at the defensive end of the floor. Give him credit for that. O'Shower. Jackson on a give and go toward Peyton McCord. I don't know if that was tipped out or not, but it looks like it's going back to BW. Otterbein felt BW may have gotten a hand on it. And Effect comes back in. As BW settles into a press break. Inside 8 minutes left in the first half. And Effect. All 3 of those. 21-10. Casey Hughes goes right into Abby Zirkel's cookie jar and takes it away from her. Love it. How about that effort? Great job, Casey Hughes. Hensel in a little bit of trouble. Izzy Andrews calling for it on the far side of the floor. This is Diedrich. Andrews and now Fecht, who hesitated. The defense collapsed down on her, so she stepped back and took her chances. As Sydney Diedrich tried to pull in the long offensive rebound. A little collision there. Andrews for 3. No. Wow. How is that a foul on BW? Abby Scholes went flying into Hannah Fecht. Hannah pinballed off of Abby Scholes, and yet apparently it's a foul on Hannah. I don't understand that one. Wish we had the ability to show you a replay, but unfortunately we do not. Snyder, Fecht, Diedrich, Hughes, and Marshall now for BW after they make a couple of changes. McCord backing down Hannah Fecht. Her size and strength definitely among her biggest assets. That's deflected out by Otterbein. 21-12. Diana Knowles is employing this strategy. The Jackets don't see a lot of full court pressure, but every once in a while, trying to trap the inbounder. BW breaks that one nicely. Now the Jackets settle into an offensive set. Snyder for three. Nope. Otterbein wants to run and play fast. Good job by Hoschauer. They go right back into the full court style. Surprised Hannah didn't bring it across the timeline herself. Well, I think they overthought that one. 21-14. Jackets had a 13-0 run at one point, and they were down 9-3. Actually, it was bigger than that, because then they went up 18-9, so it was a 15-0 run. Currently a 7-point lead for BW, 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Scholes holding, back left side now to Angelina Jackson. Jackson accidentally kicked that one as it rolled out of bounds. By the way, I don't think we ever told you the names of our officials today. Tim Radley, Ty Kovac, and Pat Hunter. Gabby Garrett returns for BW. Casey Hughes has a seat. And a traveling violation on Marshall. Lobbed into the low key. That's a good find. Bryn Mangold's got some pretty good footwork down in the post. She got the defender on her back hip and used a nice little drop step. And slide her way toward the bucket. And BW called for a travel again. I'll tell you what, Sherry Harrer's right on top of things. She's telling her team, calm down. They're playing frantically against this press to get it up the floor, but the problem is they're not really slowing down and catching their breath on the offensive end. Otterbein's pressure has been pretty relentless. And Fecht tried to rip it away, and it went out of bounds. Catch and shoot three on the inbound. Draws nothing. Haley Bauer. Too much on it. All right, so Fecht will be the baseline inbound here. Andrews and Fecht working with one another. Now Gabby Garrett into the forecourt. Good find. Snyder, easy money. Good job by Baldwin Wallace. Otterbein's pressure has certainly caused some issues, but the Jackets are handling it okay. Kind of went up awkwardly from Bauer's right hand. From a close range, I felt like she put that up with a lot of heat on it. Almost went in. Hensel in for Fecht. 23-16 Jackets. Well, BW is not having as many issues breaking the press now as they were early on. Gabby Garrett. How is that not a foul? Unless from this angle I couldn't see it more clearly, but Gabby went hard to the ground. hard time believing if that was all ball that she would have gone down that hard. Lily Edwards didn't think the inbound was coming her way. Hensel back to Snyder, lobbing into the post. Edwards has to get tough, and now she's got 2 free throws. Tiffany Bentler comes back in. Lily Edwards with 3:57 left in the half puts in the first free throw. All right, Edwards having a nice first half. 8 points for her, several of those from the charity stripe. Scholes lobs into the low post. Great effort by Megan Hensel, sticking the hand up there, jarring it free. Jackson in trouble on the baseline. Mangold and Jackson playing a little 2-man game. And a travel called on Angelia. Some other games around the OAC here this afternoon. Try to fill you in on some of those scores. Capital leads Mount Union 28-23, 4:30 left in their second quarter. Ohio Northern is losing to Muskingum. Did not see that coming. Muskie's 2-8 this year, 0-5 in the league. Northern's 10-2. They're 4-1 in conference play. That's one to keep your eye on. Edwards, 7 on the timer, gonna get it going here. And she's blocked out of bounds with 3 seconds to shoot. Marietta is pounding Heidelberg, 41-19. Second quarter, pretty late there. And Wilmington's beating John Carroll, go figure, 30-23. Edwards didn't realize there was only 3 seconds on the shot clock. Well, there's not really a good excuse for that. Everybody needs to be aware on a baseline inbounds play how much time you have. Deflected out by Garrett. Zirkle. Deep in the front court here. Hoschauer left side now in Scholes. And she fires one past Mangold's outstretched arm. Hughes and McCord both return for their respective sides. Jackets lead by 9, 25-16. 2:37 left before halftime. Izzy Andrews dribbles into the paint, partially blocked from behind. Good defense from the Cardinals. It's an Otterbein team that won a conference tournament game a year ago. They were the 5 seed after finishing the regular season 11-7. And they beat their crosstown rival Capital. That 3-ball chucked up way offline. But they lost to John Carroll in the semifinals. Blue Streaks went on to win the whole tournament last year. Good find from Casey Hughes to Edwards. Lily couldn't score it, but got her miss and got fouled. Edwards has been the most important force on either side of the floor so far here this afternoon. Well, the gym respectfully falls pretty quiet as Edwards steps to the free throw line and hits her first. Lily's got 9 here in the first half. The Jackets will make changes after the second free throw. They'll give Edwards 10. She and Bettler check out. As Sydney Diedrich and Kara Marshall join Andrews, Hensel, and Hughes out there. Clock is winding, 1:45 in the second. Scholes, McCord, Hoschauer. Jump shot with 2 seconds on the timer, and Diedrich grabs it. Good defensive stand there from the Jackets. Just not making it easy on Otterbein at all. Diedrich is open. She takes a long three, and she scores it. Sydney Diedrich showing off a little range. 7 for her, and it's 30-16 inside a minute left before halftime. Bauer toward McCord. Bobbled on the baseline. Loose on the floor, and Otterbein keeps it. 10 to shoot here. They fire it into McCord. It's off her chest and bounces over to Megan Hensel. Megan spins past McCord, and she banks it in. What a sequence. 32-16. This is an entirely different game than when BW was down 9-3. It's a 19-point swing. 3-ball left side, hits the heel of the rim. 6 seconds left in the half. Andrews sees an opening, and she lays it in. And the Yellow Jackets race into the locker room with a 34-16 lead. Otterbein's full court pressure at times caused BW some issues. But as the Jackets found a way to calm down and get more composure, they have figured it out, and the Jackets have had little problem. They've more than doubled up Otterbein in the first half, 34-16. All right, so it's halftime here in Berea. We'll come back in about 15 minutes. BWYellowJackets.com. Welcome back on BWYellowJackets.com, where we're getting rolling here for the start of the second half. It's the Yellow Jackets pretty impressively out front of Otterbein, 34-16. You might remember the Jackets were down 9-3, 3.5 minutes into this game. They went on a 15-0 run, and they closed the first half on an 11-0 run. Three from Jackson was not close. Here comes Casey Hughes up the floor. Stutters through the left side. Hannah Fecht is open for three. She can't start the second half with an exclamation point. Elsewhere around the OAC, John Carroll has a 1-point lead on Wilmington at halftime, 36-35. Marietta, 45-19 at the start of the third quarter over Heidelberg. It is still Muskingum 36 and Ohio Northern 30. That's a massive upset watch at the start of the second half. And Mount Union trails Capital 39-36 at halftime of their game. Jackets 5-0 in OAC play. And if they can keep this thing going, they could really put themselves in a pretty good spot going into the middle of January. And Fecht had it rejected out of her hand. 5 to shoot here. Hannah knows it. Creates enough room for a shot. But missed the rim. I'll tell you what, I'll give Otterbein credit in this regard. They clearly don't have two of their better offensive players out on the floor because of injuries, but they defend pretty hard. You can always keep yourself in a game when you're defending. Casey Hughes got called for the foul. I don't think she got any of the forearm originally, but she kind of leaned into it. Lily Edwards, Gabby Garrett back in there. Marshall and Diedrich check out. How about Izzy Andrews? Seeing some pretty significant minutes today compared to her typical 6 minutes per game. And she's really shining brightly. Traveling violation. And it goes back to the Jackets. Izzy Andrews from Rudolph Steiner High up in Ann Arbor. Most number of minutes she's played in a game is 11 at Marietta. I think there's a pretty good chance she's going to break that today. Casey Hughes on the low block. Realizes she was up against Abby Scholes, who's 5'9" with her arms outstretched. After Hughes misses the three, Otterbein almost threw it away. Hughes did pick it up. Good defense. Fecht into the corner. Gabby Garrett. They pull it out. Hannah's open for three. She hits it. Hannah Fecht makes it 37-18. And Hannah's got 9. Oh, what a find. Good pass from Angelia Jackson to Abby Scholes. Easy two, right over the top of Lily Edwards with her head turned the wrong way. Good no-look pass, Hughes to Fecht again. Hannah Fecht, 2 in a row. She's got a game-high 12. Jackson trying to prevent this thing from totally unraveling. It's 40-20. From about 10 feet away. Good touch from Bauer, but it missed. Offensive putback didn't go home either, and you're starting to see the body language on Otterbein dip a little bit here. Edwards sidesteps the trouble and got fouled. Looks like a couple of changes coming here. Megan Hensel, Gabby Garrett, Lily Edwards, Izzy Andrews, Casey Hughes on the floor. On the other side, Otterbein takes Jackson and Mangold off. And they're now going with Hoschauer, Scholes, McCord, Bauer, and Zirkle. Edwards a second time, you bet. So the Jackets lead it by 22. They're doubling up the Cardinals. Bauer got hit. He got nudged from behind as she started to go up with that one. And so Casey Hughes commits her second. Team second here in the third. Kara Marshall, Sydney Snyder both in the game again. And Bauer goes 2 for 2. All right. So Haley Bauer, who is one of the better three-point shooters on the team. There are some pretty good threats from behind the arc. Zirkle, Jackson, and Bauer can all light it up. But we haven't seen Otterbein shoot it particularly well from deep so far today. Snyder wants to drive baseline, in trouble. Marshall, I thought she got hit underneath. And the Jackets don't get that shot off in time. I certainly thought Snyder had gotten hit hard enough to draw a foul, but that feeling was not mutual apparently. Oh, what a beautiful find. Abby Scholes dishing to Hoschauer, who drove down the left lane totally unguarded. Great play design. Halfway through the third quarter, the Jackets still lead by 18 points, which was the lead at halftime. And BW just drew a foul. Marshall looking, finds Hensel. Diedrich with her back to the bucket, now faces up. Garrett dribbles by Zirkle, but missed the left-handed layup. Otterbein back to work on the right side of the floor. Bauer in trouble. Zirkle shoots a three, and she puts it in. That's a little bit more like what we expect from Abby Zirkle, who is one of the top three-point threats in the OAC this year. From the left corner, Gabby Garrett tries to answer with one of her own, but didn't go in for her. Zirkle, by the way, is the third best three-point shooter in the league so far through the Otterbein's first 12 games, 44%. Diedrich. Hensel on an island, and she makes it count. 45-27, 8 for Megan Hensel. Hoschauer gave it up to Jackson for three. Not on target. Now Garrett racing up the floor, and she got fouled as she passed it off. That's the second foul on Angelia Jackson, as Abby Scholes is replaced by Bryn Mangold. And Megan Scheibelhut returns. Haven't seen so much of her today, in part because Lily Edwards has played so well. Marshall, good ball fake, drive, in trouble. And it was an aggressive play, didn't work out. Now Hoschauer, 3 minutes to go, third quarter. Jackets lead by 18 points. McCord from point blank range, missed it. Good defense from Scheibelhut. And a foul on the, I believe it was on the Cardinals, wasn't it? Yeah, sure was. It's on Mangold. All right, so it's Fecht, Andrews, Snyder, Scheibelhut, and Hughes here for BW. Snyder dumps it over the top. Hannah Fecht's hit a couple from there. Add a third one. Hannah is on fire. 15 for the Yellow Jacket sharpshooter. Out of bounds. Hannah Fecht having one of her best games of the season. Fifth-year seniors looked really good today. And frankly, they know they can go this year as far as Hannah and company will take them. In fact, 15 is a season high for her. She's been in double figures almost every night. Why don't you just keep adding to it? How about 18 points? 6 3 balls from Hannah Fecht. Time out, Yellow Jackets. 51-27 with 2:09 in the third. Coverage of today's Yellow Jacket and Otterbein basketball game presented by the Oswald Company. They'll handle all of your insurance and risk management needs. By Jimmy John's in Middleburg Heights. We're freaky fast, so your sandwich arrives freaky fresh. Call us at 440-625-0745 or you go online at jimmyjohns.com. Jackson throws it underneath somewhat wildly, and a foul on Scheibelhut. Also presented to you by Medical Mutual of Ohio, the official healthcare provider for Baldwin Wallace University. Scheibelhut out. And Lily Edwards back in. Edwards has 12. Fecht has 18. That one came up short. They've got 30 of BW's 51 points. It's 51-27. Andrews is wide open, and she puts one in. Boy, this team can shoot it. It's been a great day for Baldwin Wallace. Inside a minute and a half in the third. The outcome right now not in jeopardy. Otterbein doing everything they can to find their way back into this thing. McCord off balance, fouled by Andrews apparently. All right, so Izzy picks up her first. And it sends Peyton McCord to the free throw line. 54-27. McCord misses the first. She's been pretty good from the line this year, 7 out of 10. But no good on that one. The left-handed shooter puts it in. All right, 54-28. Snyder got slowed up. Hughes and Fecht working together. Casey trying to drive baseline, got around 2 defenders and got stuffed, but stuck with it, kept possession. And Fecht, she cannot miss. It's so pure, she's hardly hitting the net on the way through. 21 for Hannah Fecht. First 20-point game of the year for Hannah. And she's one shy of tying her career high, 22. What a game. Jackets take it back after the turnover. They lead it by 29 points, 57-28. Four seconds for Hughes. Finds Edwards underneath, and she lays it in as time expires. 59-28. BW throttling Otterbein here in Berea. Coverage of today's Yellow Jackets and Cardinals game brought to you by the Crown Plaza in Middleburg Heights, by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the official healthcare provider for BW Athletics, and by American International. If you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. Sweet move by Marshall. Edwards the one to knock it out of bounds. You don't see many games in which the deficit is 30 or more points after 3 quarters. But I think that goes to show just how important Delaney Cutteridge and Kathleen DiCarlo are to Otterbein. Cutteridge went down in the first half against John Carroll recently. That was back on Wednesday night, matter of fact. And it's really tough to replace starters when you're still building your depth, as Zirkle puts in a long one in the corner. She's got 10. Jackets lead by 29. It's a shame because I think this Otterbein team has a pretty high ceiling when they're at full strength. I mean, I said a couple different times throughout the course of the game, I think in stretches they defend at a nice high level. They just haven't been able to sustain it very well. Nine minutes 8 seconds left here in the fourth. Jackets are in a good place, and they are certainly focused on controlling what's in front of them. They haven't lost sight of the fact that Ohio Northern and John Carroll are both playing today, and BW is hoping that the Fighting Muskies could really give them a lift. Muskingum doesn't have a win in conference. They're only 2-8 on the season, but Muskingum leads Ohio Northern 44-42. Meanwhile, John Carroll has kind of a tight game on their hands, but they have a lead over Wilmington. It's now actually 65-56, a little bit wider margin. Blue Streaks were down the end of the first quarter and much of the second quarter, but with a good run before halftime as Scholes puts in the free throw. Good run before halftime, and JCU scored 27 points in the third quarter, so they're handling their business better. Marietta 59, Heidelberg 44. That's not a huge surprise, but neither one of those two teams are having terrific seasons by any stretch. I think when you're talking about a team at full strength, ooh, Kara Marshall went down hard again. Boy, she's going to need a nice ice bath at the end of this game. Anyways, I think when you're talking about teams at full strength, if the Yellow Jackets, knock on wood, folks, if they can avoid the injury bug, I know BW feels really good about its chances this year to win an OAC championship. The question will be, how deep could they take it in the NCAA tournament if they get there? Last year, fell in the round of 32. This team's got their eye on trying to host an NCAA tournament weekend here. We'll have to wait and see how things go, but they've done just about everything they could do in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Only one setback so far. Great defense from Hensel. Working around the perimeter here, Zirkle on the right side, step back three. Banks off the window oddly, doesn't go in. Now Casey Hughes. Swinging it around, Marshall driving the left lane, dishes off to Diedrich. She's going to the free throw line. Terrific work by Sydney Diedrich. Diedrich hits the first. And Sydney puts it in. 9 points for Diedrich. She's having a rather productive afternoon. Jackets lead at 63-32. Snyder checking back on for Hughes. Again, we apologize for not having stats available for you today. We've had a technical malfunction, and they're still working on trying to get the stat system to get back in rhythm. But there will be a final box score available online by the end of the night. But the score should tell you a lot of what's going on today. Jackets lead by 31 points. Hoschauer. Up top, Zirkle for three. And that one rattles home. 7:20 left in the fourth. Diedrich considered pulling the trigger, but thought better of it. Kara Marshall gets strong underneath. Lily Edwards pops up on the bench and flexes her muscles. She loved it. Teammates are having some fun over on the bench. Good play by Marshall. Good little runner there from Jenna Hoschauer. You know, I've noticed it in several of the Yellow Jacket players this year, but probably the two that stand out to me most, Kara Marshall and Tiffany Bentler, to me appear to be in absolutely terrific shape compared to where they were a year ago. Leaps and bounds better. You can really tell that those two in particular, but the team for sure, has taken a lot of pride in their strength and conditioning as Marshall proves the point. How about that? Carol Marshall and the foul. You can tell, especially as those two players are on the floor later in games. Marshall a little more so than Bentler, but as they're on the floor later in games, they're not fatiguing the way they have in years past, and that's really what you need from your upperclassmen, isn't it? Marshall couldn't quite connect on the three-point play. Kara from Archbishop Hoban, Tiffany Bentler from North Canton Hoover, so they're both Akron Canton young ladies, but both senior guards on this team and really impactful players. 67-37. McCord sets the screen. Jackson got called for a foul, and then I think she stepped on Kara's back. Glad Kara's okay. Again, Kara's going to need an ice bath. She's coming out here. Izzy Andrews checking on. Probably no reason for Kara to still be in there the rest of the afternoon. She has more than done her fair share. And might I add, the Yellow Jackets have done all this today without their leading scorer, Riley Schill. Schill was not available for today's game. That's the official word from the team. And it's 67-38 after the free throw. Timeout on the floor, 5:57 left in the fourth. Welcome back on BWYellowJackets.com, where Baldwin Wallace is pounding the Otterbein Cardinals 67-38. We've given you some updates on the ladies' side throughout the day, but let's keep you updated on how things are going for the men, too. By the way, the Baldwin Wallace men did pick up a victory today. They beat Otterbein down in Westerville 76-68. So the Jackets go to 4-2 in conference play on the men's side, reigning conference champions. Snyder's called for the walk. John Carroll beat Wilmington 89-72. Ohio Northern South Muskingum 72-66. And Mount Union, who just beat the Jackets on Wednesday night on the men's side. Mount Union beat Capital today 78-58. Other game is Marietta and Heidelberg. And Marietta is beating Heidelberg 72-57 halfway through the second half. Almost halfway through the fourth quarter here as McCord lays one in. It's 67-40. Edwards turns around. It doesn't roll home for her. Otterbein back to work in the corner. Hey, good range there from Abby Scholes. Scholes has 13. Zirkel has 13. They've combined for 26 of Otterbein's 42 points. Outside of those two, haven't gotten a whole lot of help. 6 points for Hoschauer. 5 for Peyton McCord off the bench. Little runner from the right hand of Yellow Jacket Megan Boric, freshman out of Fort Fry. As BW has gone to a more youthful lineup. 67-44 with 4 minutes to play. On the left side, 3-ball up, no good from Hensel. Ball still pinballing around. Edwards thought she could get it, and then a jump ball is called. The possession arrow sends it back to Otterbein. Sherry Harrer does not like the effort she has seen here the last few minutes. Coach Harrer's a pretty intense competitor. It's been one of her best attributes since she took over this program 30 years ago. That was too easy defensively. Not that the outcome of the game is in jeopardy here, but the Yellow Jackets are showing their youth a little bit. This is a group that I would venture a guess hasn't played together this year. Boric in particular has not played many minutes this season. This is just her 8th game, and she'd played 34 minutes combined the first 7. Boric on the baseline, puts it up, and it swirls around and in. Good play. Morgan Boric on the board. That's her 2nd career basket from the field. Edwards is out on the floor here defensively, trying to set the tone for this group. A lot of hands and arms in the air defensively. That's impressive. McCord. Right side, a chance for Hoschauer, and she goes to Scholes underneath, who got fouled. The Yellow Jackets are going to move to 12-1 today. Get through the first third of the OAC schedule with an unblemished record. The only teams yet they haven't played in the league are coming up the next 3 days: Northern, Wilmington, and JCU. A matchup at John Carroll on January 22nd, about a week and a half from now. Should be a good one. The Blue Streaks are supposed to be a pretty good team again this year, although I would think, just based on what I've done looking around the league and seeing some of the other schools, trying to study the depth, I think I could safely tell you that BW thinks they've got better depth than John Carroll does. But last year the Blue Streaks won the OAC championship, and so somebody's going to have to try and knock them off. Should be a good matchup in the crosstown rivalry. Right now, pretty arguably the top 2 programs in the league on the women's side. Jackson had a chance for the putback. OAC tournament will be the final week of February, and as is always the case, the games will be played at the home floor of the highest remaining seeds in each of the quarterfinal, semifinal, and then the championship games. Quarterfinals will be Tuesday, February 25th. Semis Thursday the 27th. And on Saturday, February 29th, Leap Day, will be the OAC championship. Well, the Jacket lead has gone from 32 down to 20, 69-49, but it's only a minute 55 to go. This is Snyder. Oh, good play by Jackson, just ripped it away from her. Zirkle in transition, makes an extra pass, and Megan Hensel rejects it. Great job denying Jenna Hoschauer. Both teams emptying the benches here. Reagan Schill comes in. Shelby Heminger comes in. Kelsey George checks on. Emily Lyon comes in. And the Jackets rounded out with Mairead La Liberty from Maine. It's a sophomore season for Mairead. New faces for Otterbein too. Katie Blair, Logan Fox, Danielle Horsley. They've brought on Jalen Muldrow as BW adds a long bucket. That's a good shot from Heminger. And Miranda Martindale also in for Otterbein. Good defense from Emily Lyon. Here come the Jackets. Inside a minute to play. It's 71-51. Lobbed over to the top. Heminger. Schill into the paint. Good little drop step. Turnaround didn't go in for La Liberty. It's out of bounds back to Otterbein as the Jackets make one more change here and bring in freshman guard Mackenzie Hance from Lake High School out in Mogador. She's on for Emily Lyon. So everybody's gotten in the box score today. Shot clock, it's on, but it shouldn't be. It's actually behind the game clock by half a second. Jackets lead by 20, 71-51. Muldrow down the left side, nice move. And Otterbein gets a bucket. Well, it's going to help the Cardinals feel a little better about themselves after at one point they trailed by just 31 at the end of the third quarter. And they only lose by 18, 71-53. Good late stretch there from the Otterbein Cardinals. But the Jackets with a 71-53 win this afternoon improved to 12-1 on the season. They're 6-0 in the OAC. Otterbein now 9-4. They fall to 4-2. Jackets back in action on Wednesday night against the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. We'll have tip-off and live coverage coming for you at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Otterbein will go back home and they'll entertain the Wilmington Quakers 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. Coverage of today's game has been presented by the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. I'm Brendan Gulick. Congratulations to the Jackets, 18-point winners, and they continue this great stretch of basketball at the start of the season. One more time, the final. BW 71, Otterbein 53. Have a good weekend, everybody.